Field of Geeks presents an interview with comic creators Ethan Murphy and Veronica Smith.
Steve
and
Josh, we are lucky enough to have Ethan Murphy, friend of the show. He's been on a couple times, and Veronica Smith, upcoming comic Blackmore. Ethan writing and Veronica coloring. Guys, it's a pleasure to have you on.
Thanks a lot for having us.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, Blackmore, tell us all about it. Josh and I both looked at the first 6 pages today, and number one, it's a beautiful looking comic, and you know it looks like a lot of fun, and nothing like some family drama to get something kicked off. So
yeah,
tell us about the background of this and where we're going.
Sure. Blackmore is a story about the world's first female or woman mad scientist. About half a year ago, or plus, Veronica and I were having a conversation online while we were working on another project about how there aren't that many. We couldn't literally name a single female mad scientist or woman mad scientist, young or old, anything. We couldn't do one. And then like that night, I think Veronica went home and went back and started kind of finagling with an idea about a character, and then she kind of did a quick little sketch of something, and then we kind of just basically over the next few weeks just kind of developed a character and an idea and a world just for almost like for fun. And then we liked it so much we actually made a whole book about that.
Yeah, that's it's actually, again, only 6 pages in, but it's set in the mid 1800s. Is that right?
Yes.
And from just the things that you see in the first few pages, she's obviously got a fierce, independent type spirit and a mind of her own. So pretty cool character.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So how many issues are we looking at? Is it a mini series, or are we looking at an ongoing? And when's it gonna be out in this at least available to get?
Sure. So we're actually premiering it at a comic convention in Ohio in August. And the series will be, so we have the way we have it outlined now. The first 2 books are written and done, and the first book is almost done being illustrated. And the series will be, I think it's going to be about 4 books we have mapped out right now.
Okay.
Right, Veronica? About 4 books right now.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at. Because I think the plot lines kind of changed a little bit. It's like, we get new ideas, and then we're writing other things, and then it just kind of snowballs.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you had much writer's block, or are you still in that phase where everything's just clicking, coming to you, even when you don't expect it? You get an idea, it just pops up in your head.
Sure. No, I know what you mean. Bizarrely enough, so I didn't say this earlier. So Veronica is now actually my official partner at Echelon for the title. So all the books that I'm working on, we're working on together.
Oh, nice.
And so having her as a full-blown actual 24/7 partner has really made my job a lot easier. So I don't really have writer's block that much anymore. Veronica said we have 4 projects, like Slade Nash, which you guys have read a lot of.
Yes.
That book is literally on its last page. This my artist just sent me the next to last page this morning, and then that's gonna be done with that book. That 6-issue series, and then we have Blackmore, which is starting off. And then we have Divine Influence, which I know you guys are familiar with too, which is starting off, and then we have Screenboy, which is starting off. So we have 3 ongoing series at the same time simultaneously, and all of them have several issues that have been written and are being worked on. We have artists on each of them. And we have more and more ideas. We're not slowing down at all.
That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Are these going to be available online? Can you get them in a store? How's that looking?
It'll be online. We're going to revamp the website. The website we have now is just Slade Nash. We're going to revamp it so it's actually for Echelon, so for everything. And you'll be able to buy the books online there. And I'm working with Comixology to get them available for digital view there. Ooh. And then also Amazon. So you can see the books on Amazon as well. And then also we're going to hit up some conventions too.
Nice.
So we're trying to make the books as accessible as humanly possible.
That's great. That's fantastic.
That's awesome. Yes, Comixology, that'd be awesome. I'm in that app about 800 times a week. So, but yeah, that's good. So, Veronica, tell us a little bit about yourself, your artistic influences, your background. What made you want to do this?
Well, I've been drawing pretty much ever since I was a little kid, especially on a little bit unconventional things. We had an old TV it was kind of like a veneer, and I had peeled the veneer off and was coloring on the TV in crayon.
Wow.
And just this little kid just coloring on whatever I could find.
That's awesome.
Found comics a little bit later. Of course, I've been a fan of those 90s cartoons, and that's probably a big influence on me is those. My favorites, X-Men and Spider-Man. And I started more into penciling probably 10 years ago, I think. Mm-hmm. And then started getting into the digital coloring and just kind of found that seemed a little bit more of a fit, and just kind of slowly worked into that and met the right people. And
do you use Adobe?
I actually use Corel Painter 10.
Okay, yeah, all right. So that's awesome. So I need to ask, what part of Michigan are you from?
The southwest bit. I'm near Kelowna, which is Lake Michigan's about less than a mile away.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I used to live in Michigan. My wife's from Michigan, and we're up there a lot. So I was just curious if you could drink your water or not,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, my water's fine.
Well,
Good.
That's why they have bottled water now.
Well,
you
hey,
don't have to worry about water, right?
Yeah, forget the tap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
No, if I'm on the other side of the state, so my water's fine.
Yeah. And I tell everyone, anything out of the, eastern, southeastern side of Michigan is actually really pretty. So,
yeah, the part she doesn't live in is where it's pretty.
It is, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Josh, we probably should have told you this, that Steve's wife and Veronica are actually sisters. They're actually related.
Oh, my gosh. This is a bombshell. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
This is good news because it'll be a huge news to my wife. And,
We're
it'll be
bringing
nice to get them
families
to
together.
meet. Right,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
Finally.
Yeah, finally. So
That's what the goal is here, Steve.
mission accomplished.
Yes.
All right, bye, everybody. No, okay. So, yeah, let's get back to Slate and Ash for just a quick second, if you don't mind. So issue 6 is almost in the can, huh?
Yes, because Veronica is coloring that book as well. So we actually, spoiler alert, I guess there's the sixth book is 31 pages.
Ooh.
And Veronica's colored the first, 28 or 29. Back, what's it, 28 or 29 you've colored so far? That one?
28.
28.
I haven't downloaded that 29th one yet.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a few, literally 2 or 3 pages done from that book being done. And that's a whole 6-book series. And I believe I sent you the first 4. Was it, Steve?
Uh-huh. I got the first 4, so I'm excited to cap that off.
Yeah, and I'll send you the last 2 as well. So, yeah, and that'll be, at least for this particular arc, it'll be done.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that was a very, very fun comic. So we were having fun reading that sucker a long time ago. So we've got a few comics on the horizon here with Echelon, right? What about the future? What's maybe 2 or 3 years down the road look like?
Veronica and I are also working on, we have some people in LA we're working with, and we're trying to, long story short, get some of our ideas or IPs adapted into either TV series or movies. So hopefully in a few years, we'll at least be in production on one of those things. Actually trying to, the one that has the most the 2 that have the most promise right now are Divine Influence and Blackmore. Blackmore is a ideal series for a TV show of some kind. It has a strong female protagonist in the Me Too movement, which is really great.
Right, sure.
And then Divine Influence is it would be more of a feature film type of scenario. It's a much bigger budget type of thing. But again, it's a situation where that series, that book, I'm not sure if I explained what that was even about, but that one, long story short, it's pretty much about how the devil literally kills God at the very beginning of the story, and then several generations later, God comes back as a very small infant baby, and it results in an angel, living karma, and the devil pretty much fighting over this infant. So decided what should happen to it, and that kind of, if you can imagine what that would be like, it's almost like a Last Airbender The cartoon series, not the movie.
Yeah.
So M. Night's not going to direct this thing, I take it.
No, M. Night is nowhere near us.
He's on a comeback, so yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, Split wasn't bad. That's true. But
Keep Nickelodeon out of it, too.
No, oh my God. But it's kind of those two series are trying to develop into like other things. So we're going to keep doing what we're doing with comics and then potentially branching out to in other mediums and other things like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know, even if they, bought the rights to it or something like that, and who knows, right? I mean, that's that could be big stuff down the road. That's great.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it's just potential.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing with comics is that some can translate very well into various mediums, and others it's a little bit tougher. Green Lantern. Excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that though, because Jeff Johns just announced he's trying to turn. He's focusing his efforts on making the buddy comedy with a buddy cop type of movie with the Green Lantern. So we'll see how that goes.
It's like a Lethal Weapon in space, I heard. Which doesn't sound terrible. Yeah.
As long as Guy Gardner's involved with that, that'd be hilarious. And
Clayton
awesome.
Crawford isn't anywhere near that character.
Oh man, I'll tell you.
Oh yes, wow, yeah, wow.
Deep hole, sorry.
deep.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, fingers crossed. We'll see what happens there. That's one of my favorite characters, and to have it be one of the biggest bombs is a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
It's pretty. It's a pretty movie.
I know. I get a lot of static for that from like friends and stuff.
Well, did you guys see? I know it just came out, but did you see The Incredibles 2?
Yes.
Josh has. I have not yet. I'm going to be seeing it next week with my wife. So I heard it was great.
I lost all respect for you, Steve.
Get out. I enjoyed it a lot.
It was great. I saw it twice. In I think like 3 days.
Oh, lucky.
I'm very lucky. I realized seeing it in that with Brad Bird and his team in animation, you could easily do a really good Green Lantern movie if you maybe chose an animated or a 3D, like a high caliber 3D medium, because it's such a fantastic concept. It may be easier to do it properly in a different medium.
Yeah, and if you remember the Green Lantern animated series, it was semi-recent. Yeah. In that vein, I mean, that show was quality. I mean.
It was good.
It was pretty close to that style of animation
pretty
in a
close,
way. I mean, obviously not all that money was thrown into it, but
yeah, they did a lot of good things with that series, I thought. So I gotta ask, Veronica, Michigan or Michigan State, or do you care?
Don't really care.
Good for you.
Not really big into sport. I mean, I'll watch a little baseball now, but not really.
My wife's family is very divided, so I find that to be highly amusing.
Is it like Iowa State? Obviously, it's not like professional, or well, that's college too, right?
Yeah, it's college too. So
mind.
yeah,
it's exactly the same then.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah,
except for two of those schools are good, the Michigan schools. So
well, I don't really care. I didn't go to those, so
right. Yeah.
Is it for you, Steve? Is it Michigan or Michigan State?
It's neither. I'm from Nebraska, so I. But my wife is a Michigan fan, so
go Cornhuskers. Is that what they are?
The Huskers. Yep.
Huskers. Yeah.
Veronica's sister. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, right. Yeah, Veronica's sister. She's a big Michigan fan.
I don't know. I think I might have had. If I had to pick, I'd probably say State.
Yeah.
So I think I might have to. We might not be family anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's sad. I'll get a mediator with you two, and we'll see what we can do to patch this up. I think it'll be fine. I'm gonna run down some recent movies, just by the title, and give me your thoughts. We've it's been a while since we've had Ethan on the show. Veronica, please chime in as much or as little as you want, and we'll start with Deadpool 2. Go.
Oh, nice. You want to go first, Bex?
I haven't seen that.
That's okay, because Steve hasn't seen Incredibles 2, so we will let you off with that.
Deadpool 2 has been out a lot longer. You got to give me a break on that.
and again, I've seen that movie twice as well. I am that guy that sees everything way too much. I have no money. I'm broke.
There you go.
Get Movie Pass.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I mean, is it perfect? Of course not. Nothing's perfect, but it's a lot better than Green Lantern. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Steve.
Agreed.
I thought I'm not sure how many spoilers we're supposed to get into or not, but
go ahead.
So, I thought that Cable. I like the way they handled Cable. I like the way they handled the new characters in general, Domino and all of them. and it managed to seem. It was obviously on a bigger scale, but at the same time, it still felt true to the form and the structure they set before in the previous movie.
Mm-hmm.
The additions didn't detract from what the movie had established, so I thought it was really good. It was really fun, really rated R, really good action.
Yeah, someone at work was asking me, is this one I could take my kids to this time? And I'm like, no. But yeah, Deadpool 2, I agree. It was still plenty rated R. Might not have been as intensely rated R as the first, but it was still plenty enough to, keep the 8 and 10-year-olds out of that theater, but didn't stop people from doing it anyway. But so, another movie, Justice League.
Oh, my gosh.
That means he loved it.
I'll let you guys go first on this one.
Let me go get my alcohol first.
Right.
We'll talk.
So my quick hit on Justice League was much better the second time around.
Okay.
I got it on DVD, of course, on Blu-ray, just because I'm a completist and a total nerd. But I hadn't watched it until last week since I bought it, and
really?
I don't know if it was just because it was late at night and maybe I was a little tired and a little hazy, but I actually liked it better viewing it the second time than I did in the theater. And it's not that I disliked it; it was just disjointed. And anytime Ben Affleck turns into Jim from The Office, every time the Flash talks and makes a little face, it's just that's not exactly what I'm looking for in my Batman character. But Wonder Woman, she's always great. You can't go wrong with her. She always does a nice job. And the last, I don't know, maybe quarter of the movie with Superman, that's the Superman I want to see. So it had its ups, it had its downs, but it was in a little bit like Suicide Squad, and it was just kind of a choppy film. It just felt like it jumped from place to place. Not terrible, but not great.
It's like if you're watching it at home and you're channel surfing, you're missing the great parts that connect things, and you come back to the fun action that you don't really have to think about. So that's what
they flip the channels for us. Right,
exactly. There's a movie there. I think Snyder's got those missing pieces, but we'll probably never see those.
No, I actually pretty much agree with pretty much everything you said, and I saw it the second time in the theater as well. I was dragged there by my girlfriend at the time. So I actually agree with what you said. I actually liked Henry Cavill's Superman at the end the most. It was actually it felt like him. Like actually he was actually the way he was talking and stuff. It felt like Superman, the way he was being kind of chummy and stuff, and the way he was spoiler alert, the way he raced the Flash. It actually feels like Superman. But at the same time, a lot of the CGI fest was kind of like, what is going on here? The character. He literally, someone did the comparison. He literally looks like a character from a PS2 game, not even a good PS2 game. A PS2 game like Resident Evil Part 3 or something. And it was just a kind of a weird scenario. I loved what Gal Gadot. She was always great. Aquaman should have been much more impactful. He has the whole ocean to use, and he pretty much is just a bro. He could have just called him, Beard Face, and it wouldn't have made a difference at all.
Taser Face.
That's what it was. Taser Face's brother.
Nice.
Well, yeah, they had like a couple crucial scenes underwater they cut out. William Dafoe was in one of them, so there was something there, and of course, I'm sure. I mean, we're getting off Justice League just tad here, but the new Aquaman photos released. The movie looks incredible just from the stills. Yeah,
spectacular.
I'm sure it'll be fine. But
knock on wood.
It was a letdown. I really liked. I mean, it was entertaining. It could be so much better. That's the problem. I think when you get the comic creators, the movie industry takes over the decision making from the people who actually made the material, know the material.
Exactly.
Yeah, keep the studios out of it.
Exactly.
Did you like it, Veronica?
I thought it was alright. They didn't really make use of that water, that they could have really made that over the top, and they could have done so much better with those scenes. And although I did kind of like the Flash, I was a little confused by his costume. I thought it looked a little odd, but
yeah.
Well, I will say that again about Aquaman. James Wan, I think, is directing it. I could be wrong. He's a horror guy, so he could really make you feel like the ocean is terrifying.
Right.
Even though you don't want it to be entirely that, but maybe we'll see some sharks in this new one. And
Yeah.
that'll be exhilarating, of course. But
Right, you're right. Well, the thing is, because James Wan is I think he did a. No, that wasn't him was that him on one of the Fast and Furious movies too, or was that his?
I don't know. He's done The Conjuring, I think. So
Yeah, he did The Conjuring, but he's actually he's a great director. He's a great overall storyteller.
yes,
And I think one way or the other, shark or no shark, he'll have a coherent story on screen.
Yes.
With lots of good atmosphere.
just keep WB away.
Well, that's just it. I mean, if it's disjointed as well, you know it's the studios that need to start stepping out, because you got a guy like that at the helm. It technically shouldn't go wrong.
Just trust him and let him do it. Yeah.
I agree. I 100% agree.
So let's go to the flip side of the coin. Infinity War.
Ooh.
I don't know if it's crying. I think that's one of my favorites so far.
It was pretty amazing.
Wore you out. It did to me anyway.
Yeah.
It was just ugh.
And I saw it 3 times in the theater.
Yeah, you did. Now I'm proud of you. Now we're friends.
We're coming back. And I did see Deadpool 2 twice, so, But yeah, Infinity War was, that's how you do it. If you're going to be dealing with, 109,000 characters, they found the way to make it work, and it was pretty phenomenal. So
They kept it serious because
yeah, it was...
you, Steve, and myself included, I liked Ragnarok. I thought it was like a Monty Python presents Thor, pretty much, in spots.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, yeah.
So we were afraid that this Infinity War was just going to be a joke fest, Might as well just get up on stage and have some stand-up material. But, Steve definitely, I think, has mind changed.
Yeah, I did. I liked it a lot, and I was getting a little Marvel fatigue just because of the comedy piece of it. And it's not that there's not room for that.
Yeah.
But after seeing Ragnarok, I'm like, all right, number one, that's not Thor. But, cool, fine, whatever. And, I don't know. So I was glad that they treated the source material as well as they did. It was a fun ride.
Yeah, it was definitely a spectacular ride. 'Cause I saw it, I think, 3 times before Batgirl's Veronica saw it, and so she hit me up saying the day she was going to see it, and I was like, please let me know the second after you see it.
I've got to talk.
Right.
You got to talk about it. I think I think she said her favorite character was Doctor Strange. I think was her favorite.
Oh, that was cool. Very trippy.
Yeah, it's very, very trippy. But the best part of it was, like we're talking about Justice League, how the characters kind of just seemed out of place, or Steve called Batman Jim from The Office.
Right.
Yeah.
In this movie, it felt like the characters, you've seen them grow and build up for literally past 10 years. So this is kind of a culmination of their arcs in lots of ways.
Right.
It felt like the first 10 movies, for their first movies, were almost like practice. Like this is the first real villain they had to go up against. And so for Doctor Strange, it was really cool to see Doctor Strange go from that pretentious jerk that got in a car crash to this guy who actually is willing to make some sacrifices, make some choices, and cares about some of the things in this movie. And seeing Tony care about something, and when he loses that, and it was a really well done, mechanically a well told narrative from start to finish for the past 10 years or so.
Right, and that's the thing that Marvel is doing right and DC is doing wrong. They're trying to play catch up way too fast, and just spend your time developing. We don't have to get to the Justice League as fast as we did, in my opinion. But
100% agree.
I'll tell you, though, what I loved about Infinity War was, the pairing of the 2 most arrogant people in the Marvel Universe together, Doctor Strange and Tony Stark. And it worked beautifully on screen. It was
Sherlock's.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's right, Sherlock's.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was cool. Yeah. All right, well, good. Everybody enjoyed that. Consensus, good. We'll dive straight into controversy now. The Last Jedi.
Oh, Steve, you magnificent expletive. Oh my gosh.
More liquor.
Who wants to go first on that, Josh? I think it's your turn.
I don't have a huge problem. I do see some, issues. It's enough for me to kind of just forgive in a way. I think it was a shock of a movie like Empire was to me. I know a lot of people were like, oh, I wanted to see Luke do this and that. But then again, it's like you want to give people something new and, kind of like, oh, you think we're going to go this way? We're going to go this way instead. So I thought it was good. I think 9 could correct a few things. The humor was a little much in spots, I thought. It kind of took me out of it. Yeah, the gas thing was kind of annoying, but at the same time, we've never addressed it in movie. We've always seen them gas up before they go fly off and battle, and just a few things like that. The Canto Bight, I think a lot of people didn't like that too well. It's like they had enough time to go there. It's like, why couldn't they just gamble and win some ships and then come back and help them out or something?
Yeah, no kidding.
A few things like that, but yeah, I don't hate it. I bought the thing and I don't hate it at all. So,
okay, no, yeah, I'm actually more along the lines with you. I actually probably give it 8 out of 10 or so. I actually liked it.
Yes, yep.
There's definitely some shortcomings. I see those things. I acknowledge those as well, but it's like Brian Johnson. It's the same guy that did Looper, and I love the hell out of Looper.
Right.
He's a very, very, very competent storyteller. Some of the problems, some of the basic things that I loved were every time Rey was on screen, I loved her to death. I loved Rey's relationship with Kylo Ren. I love Poe being a very, very flawed character and called out for it over and over again. There's so many things I loved about it, and I even actually like the fact that Luke was kind of disheartened over all these years. It's very similar to how Logan is in Logan, and how Kratos is in God of War 4, and Mr. Incredible is the beginning of Mr. Incredible.
Yes.
Or Incredibles 1. So I definitely get it. The problems that I have with it were pretty much just the ideas as far as in kind of storytelling, you have setups and payoffs. Mm-hmm. The first movie kind of did a lot of setups, and the second movie didn't necessarily do a lot of payoffs. I know that bothered lots of people, so that's kind of what happens.
Veronica, thoughts on The Last Jedi?
I enjoyed it. Let's see. The whole Leia thing, it was like you knew Carrie Fisher wasn't going to be around too long.
Yeah.
So then when she had the flying thing in space, it was like I thought they were gonna kill her off right then. Then it's like, okay, but then she comes back, like she survived, but then it's like, she's gonna have to go at some point, so they should make her death, this big majestic thing, kind of like as a surprise with.
That might be a question for everyone. How would you, if you had the control, how would you deal with her fate? Would you recast? Would you CG? Or just say she blew up in a ship, or she's maybe retired? I don't know.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
That's tough. That is a tough one. And, that's... If they're not going to roll CGI, you almost think they have to start off Episode 9 with, some sort of tribute or something. Maybe it's a funeral. Maybe it's something that happened off camera, but they dedicate the appropriate amount of time to it. Who knows? But I know. As far as Last Jedi goes for me, I actually did like it as well, and I'm not one of these guys that's going to say, you ruined my childhood, and, that's...
No.
It's a little ridiculous, and it's a lose-lose, really, for the studio, because when The Force Awakens came out, all anyone complained about was how similar it was to the other stories.
Exactly.
And then we try something radically different, and people are going crazy about that. And then as a result... they boycott Solo, and
literally boycotted. I was like, what? Yeah,
right. Yeah. And so it's just ridiculous. But Last Jedi to me was great. I mean, the Rey and Kylo Ren lightsaber sequence in the chambers there was one of the coolest filmed ever, and it was just great. And there was so much good stuff in that movie that its flaws didn't detract. Right, porgs.
They're not as bad as Ewoks, though.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So when people are freaking out over this movie, I say two things to you: Ewoks and Jar Jar Binks.
In holiday special.
A holiday special. Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, that's hard. That's hard. More than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
All is forgiven then.
So then the last movie, Solo.
Say it. Yeah, I knew you were going to say it. I knew you were going to say it. So I want to hear Steve's thoughts on this. I want to hear Steve's thoughts on this for a while, actually. So I want to hear your thoughts.
All right. So here we go. So I'm fresh off of seeing Solo for the first time. Thank you to my wife who, canceled out 4 or 5 times and going earlier. But we finally made it. You know what? number one, I'm a huge Ron Howard fan, so
Yes.
it's hard to not like and respect his work. And knowing that he shot 70, 80% of the movie and changed things up, you could really feel his stamp on it. I love Solo, and for the people boycotting the film, my opinion is, you know what, you're letting one bad experience ruin a perfectly great movie. And action, all the characterization, I forget the actor's name who played Han Solo.
Alden Ehrenreich.
Yeah,
there you go. Thank you.
But he was great. He was phenomenal. He nailed it. Woody Harrelson didn't seem too THC induced, so he did a good job.
Well, his clothes were made out of hemp.
There you go. Right. Yeah. But I mean, it introduced so much cool stuff, and that's exactly what I'm looking for from these spin-off movies. Is it doesn't have to be, within the main story arc per se. They gave him a great origin, and Donald Glover nailed it. Just phenomenal. I mean, I can't say enough good things about that movie. I cannot wait to buy it.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I guess, Josh, you feel the same way?
I do. Yeah, I was telling Steve, like, basically, how you were with Veronica, like, quickly go see this film so we can talk about it. And 2 years later, finally, it's paid off. No, I'm kidding. No, I enjoyed it. I walked out of the theater. I had a great time. I was upset about the box office. I was upset about some people I follow online who have reviewed things, and they were basically being grown children, just like, I'm not going to go see it, but I'm going to complain about it for 30, 40 minutes. And I was like, I can't. Like, this is just, it's stupid.
Outrage culture, it's got to go.
Yeah, and oversaturation of movies right now. It's just...
Yeah.
All right.
No, I agree with that. Not so your opinions on the movie is one thing, but the idea of childish baby whining as like being endorsed, that's got to go. That's terrible.
Yeah.
If you like something, cool. If you don't like something, cool. But the idea of being outraged or boycotting or causing an actual political movement over a movie is
over something you want. You want Star Wars movies.
Yeah, that's terrible. I think what's it, like a couple of days ago or so, Veronica, I think you asked me whether or not I should see it, whether or not you should see it, or if you were gonna go see it, and I said, I think I said don't bother or what have you, or something like that. I saw it twice. I saw it again twice. I saw it once for my brother's birthday, and then once I took my work wife to see it for her birthday.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was okay. I give it like a 6.5 or so out of 10. I respect you guys' opinion on it. That's cool. It's very cool. For me, the biggest thing was I love the hell out of Ron Howard. Everything from Willow to Beautiful Mind to even Rush, they're all great. With this particular movie, what it was for me was that it just kind of felt, I guess the biggest thing was that Alden Ehrenreich felt like he was having to play the role very, very safe. You can tell he wanted to kind of cut loose a little bit more or do something else. I'm guessing that's what the original directors, Lord and Miller, had in mind for him.
Yeah.
But it felt like, you said, Lando was nailed perfectly by Donald Glover, and Chewie was fun and was fun too. But they were almost like they had to, after getting rid of Lord and Miller, they had to play it so safe, and it felt a little too tame. Like the best way I can think of it is that, how Chris Pine is in the first Star Trek movie he played, one from 2009.
Yeah,
he's kind of a young brash rogue going out there, and his arc is pretty much learning how to be a little bit more responsible or grow up some. I felt like Han would have had a similar arc. He's doing a lot of this stuff. Spoiler alert: he's doing a lot of this stuff for love. He seems very down to earth and kind of relaxed. Like that's Han should have been. If he's really called a rogue and a scoundrel and everything, we see him all the way into Empire. He should have been a lot of rougher around the edges. I mean, he felt way too safe for me to really kind of get on it. The flight scenes were fun. The action was fun. I give you that, but it's kind of just Han himself wasn't quite right for me.
I do see that, and I also see at the end where he did help. I mean, spoiler, he helped them basically fuel the resistance. Maybe he shouldn't have, and shown little regret through in the ship with his expression on his face,
right,
to give you a hint he will change for the better in New Hope, we know.
I think my favorite part that kind of gave me the Han Solo chills was when he shot Woody Harrelson's character first.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah.
It was I
like seeing that.
Yeah, thank you for fixing the Greedo shot first mistake.
Right, exactly.
I'll
that was great. Sorry, Veronica, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh, shit.
Whoops.
Well, my bad. I apologize.
We were just kidding. None of that happened.
Yeah, in Solo, Batman dies. So I'm sorry. That's just what happens.
We haven't even seen the movie.
Yeah.
We're just...
It's not even out yet in America.
right. Yeah, at this rate, I don't think it'll come out. So straight to video.
Boycotted. Yeah.
Yeah, but
you guys have seen this stuff with Kathleen Kennedy too. How people were trying to for her head in the play. Yeah.
And I've heard both. I've heard it's her fault, and I've also heard it's Bob Iger's fault. Head of Disney, like supposedly Lucasfilm wanted to release this thing in December. Disney did not.
Right.
They pushed for a May release, and they may have pushed for the original directors to be out. It's just like with WB and DC. It's I think that situation is a little bit more able to predict, I guess.
Right.
But this whole thing, sadly, I could see maybe her being ousted. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, I really don't think that should happen. I think ultimately, too, like Kathleen Kennedy has done so much. It's like she essentially has. The Last Jedi was kind of divisive, but still, it made lots of money. And then she has one movie that kind of. And I say her. She didn't direct it. She didn't write it. It was a different situation. So I feel just putting all the blame on her and let's just go ahead and toss her out into the wolves is way too hasty and unnecessary.
Yeah, I agree.
In my opinion. So yeah.
Well,
but my childhood was ruined.
Yeah,
go to your room.
I'm sorry for your childhood, bro. Your childhood is so important.
Man, I'll tell you.
And we talked about this on our show the other day about they were going to halt on these spin-off films for now. I guess they're starting to change the story on that. Probably Damage Control. But I'm sure it's very easy for them to go down the WB route and just like, oh, we gotta let's have 2 Han Solo films or something. It's just...
yeah. I saw that. I did see that too. The whole putting things on hiatus. Yeah.
Yes.
We won't give we won't name drop one of the big spoilers at the end of Solo, so we'll leave that one.
There you go. Yeah,
we'll leave that one out.
But real quick though, did that? I know you guys are in the know. Did that cameo work for you guys, you and Josh?
Honestly, it worked for me because I jabbed my wife in the arm with my elbow, and all it made me want to see was a movie with that character.
Yeah, I agree. I was fine with it. Yeah, it wasn't Jar Jar. Sorry to give that away.
Yeah.
No Jar Jar cameo. Sorry.
It wasn't Jar Jar. No. I love the way that character looked. And the thing is, I was with 2 people who didn't understand. They're like, "Wait, what's going on here?"
Oh, boy.
So that at the same time, it's one of those situations where you have to remember the last time we saw that character, you're going to confuse a lot of people if they don't know a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's
yes,
yeah.
And I love the hell of that character. I love him to death. Or her. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
And the character is Tebow the Ewok. So no, I'm kidding.
Is that
That's one of the names.
I love that there's a character, an Ewok named Tebow.
Played by Warwick Davis.
Tebo, yeah. You have Tebow, you have Wicket. I'm
so many heads
stop.
started scratching, like what is this about? Yeah.
And the only reason I know that is because I play Galaxy of Heroes on my phone. And they have those characters, so.
So every last drop of respect I lost for you, Steve, I'll pay him back.
All right, I appreciate it. I'll take whatever I can get.
This cameo is going to be great.
Right, yeah. But, well, good. Well, that was fun. So before we wrap up, let's have the website. Is it still SlaytonAsh.com for right now? Is that right?
It's definitely still that for right now. And then Veronica and I are working on you can find us also on Facebook. We're going to change that page to an echelon page. So if you go on Facebook, just / whatever it is, and then Slate and Ash.
Okay.
Slate and Ash. AND. It's SLATE. Slate. AND and ASHE on Facebook, and it's the same thing for our website. And we're going to update both of those. You can find us there, and we will obviously provide you with books and some of Josh's home phone number and other stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect. Yeah, post that sucker out there. I would love that. So as you guys continue to move down this journey, keep us updated, and we'll have you back on the show to talk about future projects, things coming up. We always appreciate having you on.
Definitely, absolutely. And like I said, I'll mail you personally the issue number 5 and 6 as soon as 6 comes out. I'll mail them both to you together.
You are the man.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us on again.
Yeah,
Yep, thank you guys. Veronica Smith and Ethan Murphy, thanks very much, and we'll talk with you all soon.